Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of One Week at a Time. As you all know by now, it's our weekly catch-up with Deben Travel down in Woodbridge, sort of up the side of me, I suppose, or I'm in Woodbridge, and I'm delighted to be joined by, as always, by Managing Director Lee Hunt. Lee, how are you doing today?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yep, I'm very well, thanks.
Fantastic. And everyone who follows Lee and his team sort of in recent times know that they were named the UK's UK and Ireland's number one agency and the TTG Top 50 2020. And we always check in on this time on a Monday, sort of see how things are getting on, the various changes and challenges that the industry's faced. And yeah, Lee, I just wanted to kick off as always, really. It's sort of that impossible question, isn't it, in some ways? Can you sort of summarise the last week or so for us through your eyes?
Yeah, it's I'll choose the word challenging again. Really, it has been a challenging week. I think for us, like I've mentioned before, being a tourist town, the town may seem busy, but certainly footfall into store incredibly low. Just to put that into context, last week we just did 3 bookings. That's all we did all week. On average, in any normal pre-COVID time, we would average 10 plus bookings a day. Yeah. So to only actually pop through 3 bookings in a week is obviously disheartening, really, I think, more than anything. Our cruise store, which I'm in today, which we are closing every Monday at the moment, no bookings at all. No ocean or river cruise bookings in the cruise store at all last week. So yeah, a really challenging week, obviously. Bookings keep kind of me motivated. Obviously, they pay the bills, but certainly last week it wasn't happening.
Do things seem to have slightly plateaued now, do you think, for you a little bit? It seems to be there's constant challenges and everything happening, but things seem to be at a type of a level really at the moment. Do you think that things aren't massively going up and down? Is it sort of more of the same week in, week out, do you think? Or
for us, it really does feel like that at the moment, unfortunately. And I think it's just a real shame that plateau isn't slightly higher, because we've plateaued out at very, very low numbers. And I'm sure many agents across the country will be thinking the same, and that's why I think I just want to be as honest as possible when we do these one-to-ones and kind of and just tell it how it is really. It was a really difficult week last week, and over the last few weeks now, we've been averaging kind of 3, 4, 6 bookings a week, which is just nowhere near. Absolutely nowhere near what we should be doing. The lates market for us is just absolutely non-existent. September through to end of October, which would normally be very busy months for us for departures, is non-existent at the moment. The bookings and inquiries that we are getting are for 2021, which are great, but obviously from a financial perspective, we don't see any commission on those bookings until the balance payments are made. So I can see that money in the distance, but obviously it's not helping us at the moment. And yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a struggle to not just get the inquiries in at the moment, but when we do get the inquiries, to convert those inquiries into bookings as well.
And I'm just going to say, if anyone's got any comments or any questions for Lee they'd like to post, just post them in the box below and sort of join the conversation. We'll try and get to them. In terms of the bookings that you did make, Lee, can you sort of talk us through those, whereabouts they were? I believe they all had sort of an element of sort of low deposits and sort of that incentive there, weren't they, from the operators?
Yeah, no, definitely. An Italy city break for next year. The other 2 bookings were, pretty good value Caribbean, one Antigua, one Barbados. The conversations really, though, that were taking place with these customers, both of which included upgraded flights, one premium economy, one business class flights. So obviously affluent customers, which is typically our market type in general. But there was that concern around paying a larger deposit. What happens if? And there is still that degree of uncertainty. And so what I believe helped, if you like, secure those bookings was the ability to be able to book them through a tour operator that could offer a low deposit. And in this instance, it was £100 per person deposit on both those bookings. I'm not saying it was the be all and end all. It's not necessarily what closed the sale, but it certainly helped. It really did help, as opposed to kind of a 10% deposit plus. So I think obviously, there are operators out there that are offering low deposits, but for those that are trying to decide as to whether they should or shouldn't, I think obviously, the proof's in the pudding, so to speak, and that we are getting bookings because of the low deposits. Ironically, before all this, I was never a fan of a low deposit.
Really?
I believe it
Mm,
encouraged cancellations possibly.
mm.
Because people may have thought, oh, well, I'm not going to lose a lot if I cancel it. But at the moment, where we need to stimulate growth, and we really need to get those 2021 bookings in, a low deposit and flexible booking conditions seem to be a good way of getting those bookings.
Yeah, do you think it sort of tips the scales and sort of tips the balance in terms of, will we, won't we, and then yeah, that's kind of really helping to get those bookings in.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it just takes the concern away from the customer if something was to happen next year, that they aren't going to lose out, because obviously there have been a lot of horror stories around this year of people losing out,
Mm.
and indeed people still waiting to get money back that have had to cancel. If it's only a small amount that those people are likely to lose or wait to get back, I don't think the issue is quite so much, and there's more than willing to book. So again, really, I think from my perspective, there are lots of tour operators out there now that have got these schemes in place, low deposit, flexible booking conditions. The more and more operators that can get behind that, the better chance we've got of saving travel. Everyone needs to be part of the Save Travel campaign. And for us as agents, it's the tour operators, because they're the people whose holidays we sell on behalf of. And, we need the tour operators to massively get behind this and to put some amazing deals out there for our customers to book, these once in a lifetime offers, but obviously the benefits associated with it as well. Because not only will that kind of raise excitement levels within the store, it's something that we can really shout out to our customers about.
Yeah, is it almost some sort of like industry-wide pledge you would want all the operators to come together and promise to do that? And what kind of, almost like a charter, I suppose, or what kind of promises or pledges would you want to have if you say you were putting out a poster in the shop window? What kind of things would you need that to have?
I think for myself and for the team, I think if we were to really want to shout about it and go to town on social media, put something in the window, I think part of it needs to be around low deposits. Part of it needs to be around flexible booking conditions, i.e. you can change up to this date with no fees incurred. And I think as well, from our perspective, as obviously an agent that I believe was hugely supportive of all our customers, over the last few months, I'd want to shout about that as well, that, as a tour operator, for example, we have a 24-hour dedicated line. We do get back to you. We are guaranteeing refunds. We won't give you a refund credit note that you can cash in 12 months' time. We are guaranteeing refunds. So I think if we could really shout about, the low deposit, the flexible terms, conditions, the promise of a cash refund if something was to happen, I think that's something that we could really get behind. And I think, like, linking to that, a good central place where we could find all this information without having to go onto every tour operator site individually to find out what they're offering.
Do you think most operators are in a position to sort of offer that, or do you think they're all still struggling and trying to build business again? Or
I would like to think the majority of operators would be able to offer that. I know of a good few operators that are doing exactly that, and I would like to think they're seeing kind of good sales uplifts for 2021 because of it. Obviously, as agents, we need to be careful, and as operators, we need to be careful. We don't want there to be a big spike in cancellations next year because people taking advantage of this policy. But I think at the moment, more than ever, we need to really stimulate that demand for 2021. And I think we need to have some tools in our toolkit, if you like, to be able to go out there to make that happen. And I think kind of the operators getting behind the Save Travel campaign with brilliant offers, low deposits, flexible terms, conditions. I think that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. I guess it sounds a little bit sort of like Travel's own version of sort of Eat Out to Help Out, isn't it? In a way, kind of book it to save it type thing. It's terrible off the cuff name, but we'll move on from there. But in terms of, obviously, the Chancellor Rishi Sunak was speaking Friday last week in terms of his plans to not renew the furlough scheme, and as quite rightly many in the travel industry said how preposterous that is, considering the industry needs that support so much. I wanted to get your take on that, Lee. Really, he seems to, when he mentions Eat Out to Help Out and the leisure industry, he seems to sort of tack travel in with that quite frustratingly. Is that how you've kind of heard it? He seems a bit of a catch-all group a little bit, which isn't really true to.
The government, they do just seem to like to put us all in the one big pot, and obviously we're not. We're a multi-billion-pound industry, the outbound travel industry, that really has had no industry-specific support whatsoever throughout this. You know, obviously we've been able to take advantage of the furlough scheme. We've been able to take advantage of the grants that were available in the early days and the loans that were available in the early days, but we've had absolutely no industry specific support, like for example the leisure and hospitality industry with the Eat Out to Help Out campaign. You know, and I think, you know, even speaking to many people myself about the Eat Out to Help Out, all it seems to do is create quietness the rest of the week in some of these restaurant and coffee shops. So again, it's a good example of the government doing a blanket approach and not really understanding what they're doing, and with any money that the government have got, not targeted in those places where they could really do with the support, like the travel industry. You know, I feel like the only exercise I'm getting at the moment is just regularly shaking my head in disbelief, because I was hoping that when Richie Sunak made the announcement, I think it was Sunday, I was sitting there thinking, yes, come on, Richie, come on, it's going to happen, and then nothing at all. And so again, it's just a massive blow. And I think now it has been made pretty obvious by the government that there isn't going to be any industry specific support. So it's up to us to support ourselves and get through it ourselves, really. And so, you know, the Save Travel campaign and all of us doing what we can to get behind it is vital, because I can honestly see within the next 6 months, lots and lots of agents, you know, the size of my businesses are simply going to run out of money.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't got big head offices to back us up. We haven't got financial backing. We will simply run out of money.
I gotta say, and this is the whole point of Save Travel, isn't it? For the industry to get behind it, for consumers, from customers. I know that speaking to your team at the cruise shop, Lee, they've sent that out on the database to the Save Travel campaign to get people behind it. And if you can, you know, really do send it out to your customers, because they don't want to see their favorite travel firms, travel agencies go down into administration. So in terms of some other stuff, Lee, I know we were talking about, obviously Mauritius, again, sort of customer confidence in that, you know, a destination that you love as well. We've had the news of this morning of the oil spill there. I think I'd sort of support and hearts go out to the people of Mauritius really at the moment, don't they? You've been there before and you love the place, don't you?
Yeah, it's devastating news. It's somewhere I've been a few times on my own holidays, and the majority of the team have been to Mauritius as well. 2019, as a business, Mauritius was our top selling destination by way of sales. And again, it's, you know, our hearts go out to the locals and hoteliers there. And, you know, really anything that anyone feels we can do that, I must be honest, doesn't involve financial support, we will obviously do all that we can do. I do think it is going to affect forward bookings for Mauritius. And so, you know, we need to just try and get behind the country as much as we can, because with it being such a big destination for the UK travel industry, you know, it is just a real hammer blow. And that kind of comes months after Air Mauritius themselves going into voluntary administration. So hopefully we'll see them resurrect in another form, because obviously at the moment we've only got the options of the British Airways direct flights. So it'd be good to get Air Mauritius back again. But, you know, with the news of the you know, of the incident, if you like, in Mauritius, it's certainly not going to make things any easier to encourage tourism back to such a fantastic place.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful part of the world, isn't it? It's a real privilege to go, and let's hope that can be sort of sorted out as quickly as possible. It's probably a long road ahead with that. But something you mentioned just now, Lee, in terms of the impact going forward over the next sort of 6 months on your business. I know you're incredibly candid when we have these conversations. That's what we love and what we really appreciate. What kind of impact do you see looking ahead? 6 months time to, if things carry on as they are. I know before we came sort of on air, we talked about some refunds that were coming out, and you said that in terms of the sort of sustainability of that is just probably not the case, that you can't just keep sustaining paying money out and not having the new money coming in, right?
Constantly looking at ways to save where I can. Obviously, I think like most business owners are at the moment, anything that's a non-essential cost, we've completely stopped. obviously taking advantage of all government schemes that are available to try and save money wherever we can. But yeah, it's a huge challenge. I mean, as a business, we've still got a vast amount of refunds that need to go through. Where we're trying to do it all we can to keep our customers updated with the delays that they're having on refunds. I must be honest, what I'm holding out for is there's currently a high court case taking place at the moment with the Financial Conduct Authority around the sale and interpretation of business interruption insurance. Because if we can, which we as a business pay extra to have that on our policy, that business interruption insurance, I was hoping would cover all the commissions of all the bookings that had been cancelled, plus take into account the time when the shop was forced to close during lockdown. I'm just waiting with bated breath over the next couple of weeks to see what the current test case at the High Court will come out with, because if they come out and say actually these businesses do have a valid claim, then great. I honestly think that for us as a business, that would save us. If they come out and say no, actually it's not a valid claim, because these companies can't claim on their business interruption insurance, for what reason I don't know. I'd love to see what the reason's going to be. We need to see bookings coming in. We simply aren't going to last the winter. With the money that we've currently got in the bank, we won't last the winter. We absolutely need bookings coming in, and we haven't got a large cash reserve. We haven't got anyone that's going to come and bail us out. And unfortunately, I think a lot of travel agents are going to be in exactly the same situation. And I've obviously had that honest conversation with my team as well. The other light at the end of the tunnel, if you like. So I've got two tunnels. One tunnel, the light at the end of it is the insurance claim. So fingers crossed for that. The other light at the end of the tunnel is we do actually have a really good amount of 2021 bookings. With balance payments for those 2021 bookings coming in early next year. And so our commissions coming in early next year. Hopefully we'll be at a position where we can get back on that wheel again. And that will keep us up and running. So although things will be very tight, actually, I've got every belief that with the 2021 bookings that we've currently got in place, unless nothing happens, we should be in a good position. But, who knows what could happen? I've kind of lost faith a bit, to be honest.
I'm you're incredibly upbeat anyway, Lee. You're so resilient in how you sort of carry yourself, which is always good. I'm sort of imagining a Deben Travel train almost, sort of going in one direction with two different sort of turning off points, and hopefully both.
Yeah, we've got some smaller stations here out in the countryside, and some of our trains are funny. They split in the middle. And so with a bit of luck, we can take advantage of that. But in the meantime, cutting as many costs as we can, real focus on social media, early stages of launching our own Deben Travel YouTube channel, just trying lots of different things. And I think that's all we can do. We've got to try everything we can, because to be honest, we aren't busy with people booking holidays, unfortunately.
Yeah, in terms of that YouTube channel, is that a case of, are you going to become an influencer, Lee? Are you going to be there, or is it more sort of travel inspiration is than sort of than showing out nice videos?
As I say, it's the early stages of this YouTube channel, and we've currently got our top man working on it. And when I say top man, this is a 12-year-old called Leland, who is actually Abby, my assistant manager's nephew. He's an absolute whiz on this channel.
Yeah, I bet.
So, as I say, we've got our top man working on it. But I think for me, what I'm hoping to do going forward with the YouTube channel is, from a green screen perspective, I think we've got a great opportunity to talk about our holiday experiences, where we've been, with the destinations coming up in the background. Moving forward, we can then use that more of a sales tool as well, talking about hotels specifically, offers that we've got coming on at the time. It's something that costs very little money, in fact, next to no money to produce, but it's another way of getting out there to people, getting the Deben Travel name out there, and hopefully generating some sales. Because in any normal time, the shop would be that busy that we wouldn't have time to do these things. But time is something that I do have on my hands at the moment.
Yeah, is it the kind of the soft selling approach of kind of like the inspiration as a part of it, and then get there sort of whet their appetite and then get them to come see you.
Definitely, yeah. You know, people may hear us speaking about, you know, India and the Deccan Odyssey luxury rail tour, and you know how it's, you know, when you first arrive, it's the sights and the sounds, but the smell as well, and you know what a fantastic trip that is. And just by people seeing that, it hopefully will plant that seed to make people want to get in contact with us to check availability and get some prices for holidays in the future. So yeah, it's just something else that it's worth a try, I think, is the best way of putting it.
No, fantastic. Yeah. And in terms of, you know, how this crisis and this pandemic will impact retail travel, you've been in the game for a long time, Lee, you've run an incredibly successful business. How do you think that things will change going forward? Obviously, this uncertainty makes people realize now more than ever, you should book with a travel agent. If you don't, you're crazy and you're mad. But in terms of the other way of doing it, do you think, can you see more sort of appointment based, more virtual, more digital stuff from the video side of things? How do you think it might change things for Deben?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned before. I think we will get through this, and as travel agents, we will come out of this looking better than ever before. People will learn to trust a travel agent. You know, we do have a wealth of knowledge and experience, which is given away free, which you just don't get if you book through other booking platforms. Yeah. So I think more and more customers will want to use the services of a travel agent. I think the experience in store, it may change. I think obviously when it comes to appointment services, which we've always run, that they may become more popular. I think video call inquiries and appointments may become more popular as well. But I think more than ever, I just think, you know, people will want to use the expertise of a travel agent, and it's up to us to adapt to, you know, to how the customer wants us. In what format do they want us? Do they want us on a one-on-one appointment? Are they happy being a walk-in, or do they want some kind of, you know, more social media way, if you like, of interacting with us? Whether that's via WhatsApp or Zoom, or any way really, whether it's a communication via Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. I think that we're just going to have to adapt to that. But what obviously we need, in going back to kind of one of the first things that I discussed around the Save Travel campaign, we need operators to help us with that. We need operators to help us with social media content. And again, loads do, but not everyone. We need them to help us generate these ideas and offers and ways to entice customers to book.
I suppose, yeah, because, you know, the last few months have changed the world irrevocably, haven't they, in so many different ways. And it sounds as if they'll definitely, and they will change the industry in terms of that flexibility. I know that travel gets accused sometimes of being quite a sort of a legacy industry, sometimes legacy system, the way things work. But now do you think that this will give it a bit of a sort of a 21st century shot in the arm almost?
Yeah, I think sometimes travel has been seen as being a bit stuck in the past, particularly, you know, dare I say, the old-fashioned travel agents, which I'm a massive fan of. I'm a massive fan of brochures. You know, our customers like a brochure. They like to go through a brochure. So I think some things that are stuck in the past, or people might regard as being stuck in the past, are absolutely fantastic, and we wouldn't want to lose them. But I think, you know, maybe this has been the stimulus that we need to kind of get with the times, and certainly adapt into new ways of interacting with our customers, however that may be. But I think unless we adapt to those ways of interacting with our customers differently, you know, not all customers are going to want to use the old-fashioned format of walking into a travel agency, unfortunately. You know, a lot will do. I do honestly believe that a lot of people will still walk in, but I think a lot of it also comes down to the changing face of the high street. Pretty lucky here, being on a relatively thriving high street, lots of independent businesses, but there are some high streets out there that, you know, in 6 months' time are probably going to have less and less retail units on, and less of a reason for customers to come to the high street. And if that's the case, we need to find different ways of interacting to our customers to help our businesses survive.
Yeah, because like I said, every customer wants a different thing now, right? And the time that they would have experienced during the last few months will make them look at things differently and want to work with you differently. And yeah, it's all sort of interesting times ahead. And I suppose, yeah, sort of looking at the week ahead, Lee, is it sort of more of the same? I always ask you this question. I always feel so bad because it's always yes, Tom. I'm sort of.
Well, Tom, hopefully not more of the same.
Continuing to, yeah,
I'd like to book some holidays this week, ideally.
Yeah. Have you got much planned in terms of strategy stuff, or anything particular to chat about, or yeah?
Yeah, I think for me, obviously, I think first of all, keeping a real close eye on this High Court case with the Financial Conduct Authority, that's going to make such a big difference to us as a business. Obviously, refunds from our customers' perspective, but also my perspective, because it does cause sleepless nights.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of anxiety personally around not being able to give these people their money back. So working with tour operators and working with the Global Travel Group to try and facilitate our customers being refunded as quickly as possible. And also, you know, just from a sales perspective, keep the work up with social media, keep the work up on Facebook and getting those fantastic offers out there. We've got some operator on the road. We've got some reps visiting us this week, so it'll be great to catch up with them.
So is that the first time they've come in store, or
first time in store? Yep. So it'll be great to catch up with some of those guys as well. So yeah, there's it's very easy just to feel down all the time, and to be honest with you, I could easily slump into that. But I think, you know, we do still work in a fantastic industry. You know, our job is selling people's, sounds cheesy, but we do sell dreams. You know, people come to us for those once in a lifetime opportunities to travel. And we'll remember those travel experiences for years and years. And, you know, that's what us as agents enjoy doing. So the sooner we can encourage customers to start booking again, the better. And so hopefully this week we will start seeing a bit of an upturn in business.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like just from some of the points that we've spoken about here, it sounds as if the next 6 months, in a way, and please forgive me if I'm totally wrong on this one, but the next 6 months might be sort of more telling and more important perhaps than the initial reacting to how things went, you know, back in March and April. This might be sort of the more telling time, if that makes sense. Do you feel like that it's getting to that point where things might be?
I agree. I think we're not through it, obviously. We're not through it at all. But I think over the next 6 months is our opportunity to demonstrate that, you know, we are professionals. We are experts at what we do. We've got some fantastic offers. So now is the time to be booking with a trusted travel agent. It's an absolutely crucial time for us. If over these next 6 months we do just fall into a depression, which is very easy to do, you know, I don't think we're ever going to pull it back. So you know, it's a really important time for us, and you know, with every opportunity to come out of this better than ever. But you know, that really needs to start straight away now, and you know, raise our profile and save travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, and safe travel. Everyone can get behind it. Can, you know, share, shout, write to whoever you can. You know, your MPs, your customers. Let's get the message out there. You know, again, you're a fantastic business lead. I'm sure you're incredibly resilient, and we'll keep going as ever, as brilliantly as you do. But I suppose that's the time to leave it there for another week. Thank you very much to everyone for watching. It's always great to be able to have these conversations, Lee, and we really do appreciate all your feedback and all your insight. You're a fantastic sort of mind on the shop floor, as it were. So really do appreciate that. But again, same time, same place for another episode of 1 week at a time. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and all the best. Have a great week. Thank you very much.
Thanks.